Um, are you comfortable there that we've covered the right agenda, the right pillars to address this topic?
Yes, absolutely. I think, as you rightly say, it's a topic that could go on, and we could talk for hours and hours about it. And there's so many spin-offs from this that we could be doing. But I think certainly the content there was extremely insightful and valuable. And I hope the people that are watching this will find some value in it. Probably got a couple of questions I wouldn't mind following up with, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, one thing I wanted to just go back to one of the earlier slides. You talked about two kind of key sales hires, one being an SDR and the other one being a sales rep. But there's nothing on there about, say, a manager or a director. A lot of the briefs that I take from the early stage businesses who are looking for that first stage hire, they all tend to want the same thing. They tend to start by saying, we need someone who can contribute individually, could go out there and hunt for us and bring in new revenue, but also build a team. So they're looking for management expertise as well as kind of sales expertise. And that's always quite challenging because the managers tend to want to stay managing a team rather than being out there on the tools again. And the sales guys don't necessarily have the experience of management or motivating and leading a team. Where do you sit on that? What's your theory behind that, and what would be your advice to anyone that maybe looking at that sales hire and thinks they want to bring a manager in because that's what everyone else does?
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's always a degree of nervousness in these conversations because we all set out to hire a rocket scientist. We want the best. We want to fill that seat. And it's very difficult to do that when what you are in fact doing is attempting to create a future. And as I said earlier on the call, there are no benchmarks. So we being human beings, we try to fill a quart into a pint pot. It's a natural reaction in this situation. I think the way that I would look at this when presented with this question is, unless we're in a situation where we have a plan, a funded plan, not only to hire, but also to invest in the support of a sales team, then maybe we would hire a sales manager who would be part of the recruitment activity to backfill behind them. I've seen that happen. Businesses that are on, they believe, a mega growth path, or they have a short window to protect something they believe is unique. There may be a willingness, a desire, the backing to accelerate, and they may choose to start with the sales manager and build a team around that person. That's possible. What's more likely is that funding is limited. That would be the truth for most organizations. There is an ROI plan behind the hire, and that we would start with a salesperson for all the reasons I described earlier. So that hands-on effort, that continued learning in the marketplace, that coverage of the marketplace, as opposed to the danger of hiring a sales manager to do that job is that huge risk of overhiring and the frustrations that follow, a risk of the wrong balance of outbound activity versus strategy. Sales manager is less likely to be coachable. Then we need to be honest about that. It'll be less obvious how a sales manager will earn against KPIs and long-term incentive plans, because who's doing the work at that point? I think there are a couple of other things to add. One is I would have a red flag against hiring a salesperson and allowing title inflation. So I would be against hiring somebody to hit the phones metaphorically and give them a title of sales manager as a notional incentive. Rarely goes well. The other thing that should be considered, and this is very close to my heart, is the role that fractional sales management might play. Fractional management could be in the form of coaching the CEO. So the CEO wants to perform that role but needs support, or fractional management in the sense of part-time sales management for the salespeople you're hiring to deliver those sales management disciplines that the CEO either doesn't want to do or isn't best placed to do. So those are the topics that I would bring to the table when we're making that decision.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. It's also interesting because at the other end of the scale, it's amazing how rare it is to get a first sales hire brief from an early stage business that is an SDR or just a lead generator. Everyone wants to bring in a 360 consultant straight away and then an SDR to support them at a later date. Whereas if you're not having the leads coming in, you're unlikely to attract an experienced sales rep. So your first hire probably needs to be a lead generator of some variety who's going to bring in the leads to pass on to the sales rep. But many people don't, kind of almost skip that completely, and they focus on bringing in a 360 sales rep. Someone's going to go out there and, really go and tear it up and go and bash the phones, as you say, and go and generate new revenue. Whereas it's likely in their current role, they've got leads coming to them anyway. So why would they make that transition into a role where there's no leads coming in? But as I say, it's very rare to have, we're looking for our first sales hire, we need an SDR, which is bonkers, really, isn't it?
Well, of course, now a lot of sales are done using outbound platforms, email sequences. So the role of SDR, I think, has evolved, and that evolution accelerated through COVID and the work from home conversations that followed and are still very much alive. Again, maybe that's another topic we can dive into in another session. But I guess, part of the thinking for the approach we've taken to the subject today is to look at the reality of our business and how we achieve sales success today and why customers buy from us and stay with us. And so that customer engagement, the reality of that engagement, is perhaps what should drive the conversation, because we want to do more of that at a bigger scale, probably more quickly. And if we understand that, then we can make an informed view on the profile we want to hire and what we think they're going to be doing today. Where are they?
Brilliant. No, that's great. Thank you very much again, Wayne. It was, as I say, very insightful, really interesting subject. I said we could talk for hours about it, but time is going to get the better of us. If anybody would like some further information, they can contact either Wayne or myself. The details are on the presentation. I'm also going to be adding this to our website with our previous presentation as well. And we've got another 4, I think, in the series to come, which I'm looking forward to. So for now, thanks very much for your time, Wayne, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.